There's been some weird reports of PS3 digital games not working, the license is expiring on digital purchases through the PSN store. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to quickly go through a few classic PS1 games, the ones I actually own, and we will just see whether this affects right. So this predominantly is affecting PS3 and I believe PlayStation Vita. Don't have a Vita, I've never owned one. I've used a PSP before. Interesting little handheld to say the least. But I thought what we'd do today is we'll just quickly go through a couple of PS1 games, because I bought these many, when did I buy these? Wow, that's a long time ago. So we'll load a couple of PS1 games up and we'll just see if we get that error, because at the moment this is affecting Chrono Cross, the Final Fantasy series, and some people, apparently all their games on their digital libraries on Vita have been affected. So let's just load a couple of quick games up and we'll just see what we get. These games go for quite a lot, the physical editions as well, especially on PS1 and RE2 and RE3, the original versions. You try and get them on GameCube, you'd be paying about 40-50 quid for the whole thing, which is insane. Well, this one works, so that's a good sign. The old Virgin, Capcom, and then is it Virgin Interactive, if I remember correctly? No, that's RE2, I think. Or is it RE1 as well? And this is the director's cut, so there are some minor changes. Even though this is the director's cut, this version doesn't have the uncut footage at the beginning of the game with when Joseph gets eaten by... Is it Joseph? That gets eaten by the dog. So, yeah. Well, that's good, so that works. I got this for about, I think it was about 20 quid, and in this collection, when I got it, there was Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Code Veronica, RE4, RE5, RE6, RE Raccoon City, which is quite possibly the worst Resident Evil game I've ever played. I've never played a Resident Evil game where it's actually where it's actually boring beyond belief. Well, that works, so that's a good sign. I'm quite happy my PS3 actually works, because I bought this controller, which I'm pretty sure this is a fake. It feels a lot lighter than my original DualShock, but my original DualShock unfortunately is broken. Well, it's faulty. It does what it wants. So far so good. That's a good sign. Possibly the darling of the series, RE2. Although I really love RE3 as well. I love the tie-in between the two games, the events of everything and how it happened. Oh, there it is. The sound of my teenage years. God, I'm old. Anyway, back to the video. I remember getting, for my 16th birthday, getting Dino Crisis. And I got a SCART lead, which allowed me to play NSTC American games in colour. There are actually some... Oh, this is the DualShock version. There are actually some changes with this version. Like, for instance, I believe... I don't know if it's the Dreamcast or the GameCube version, but they've changed the voice for when he says Resident Evil 2. Oh, I ain't even got a file on here. Okay. Well, that works anyway. I'm not going to go into each game because I'll be here all day otherwise. And the video will be like an hour long. Well, so far so good. I've had no issues. I must admit I will be a bit irritated if I can't play any of these games because... And I don't think this is an intentional thing by Sony. I really doubt it. I would just say this is some type of bug. But at the same time... the company should be on top of things like this. It really isn't acceptable to allow something like this to happen. And they didn't drop backwards. They didn't drop the PSN store in the end. They backed off on that, which was a good thing. Now, it may still happen at some point in the future. This is why Sony needs to get backwards compatibility, even via emulation, working on PS5, because at the end of the day, the Series X supports not everything, but it supports a lot more games, and it goes back to the original Xbox, so this is something Sony should have done quite easily, in my opinion. I understand Microsoft's a much bigger company, and they have a great deal more money in terms of what they can do, and stuff, in terms of finances and stuff, but there's still not... This is the first game I played of the Resident Evil series, which is weird, because I didn't have the courage to play these originally. But this is why I introduced myself to Resident Evil, and then I went back and played 1 and 2. And as I said, this is really expensive. Again, to buy any of these games on GameCube is really supremely expensive. In fact, this game is really hard. I cannot beat, for some reason, I could not beat Nemesis with a pistol. No matter what I do. Now, I like the remake to this game, but this game will always have a soft spot in my heart. It's just... There's just something about it. I don't know. It's just so good. A lot of people don't like this Resident. They think this is the weakest of the Resident Evil games. I disagree, but that may be based on nostalgia more than anything. Right, let's just test these ones and just see what it does. Well, so far so good. I've got no issues at all with any of my digital games, particularly PS1. Even though I think Dark Side Chronicles is actually a Wii and PS3 game, so... But again, they're all based on a license, I suppose. A digital license.
Sony Computer Entertainment Europe presents a Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty Dog. Crash Bandicoot 4.
Well, that works, I mean, which is good. I love that original opening for PS1 games. There's something unbelievably nostalgic about it. That never gets old. See, the great thing about old games is the fact you just load it up and there's no patches, there's no updates or anything, which I suppose is good and bad because if there is any sort of balancing issues, they'll never be addressed. But on the other hand, you get into what you're playing, I wouldn't say necessarily quicker, but it's a more straightforward route in terms of gaming and stuff. Nowadays, you need to patch. You know, the PS3 is notorious when you put in like a PS3 game like Red Dead, like it'll put the game in, and say, do you want to play the game? Yeah, I'll play the game. And as you go to load it, it'll go, oh, you need to do a 2 gig update. You're like, oh, really? And this is obviously the generation where there's no SSDs or anything, so it can be incredibly slow depending on the game. I've played through this a couple of times. It's really, really good. I've been told the sequels are better, but I haven't played any of them. What else we got? Code Veronica X. I tried to play this not that long ago, and I had a weird glitch when I was trying to stream it. Because recording off the PS3 is really difficult. You can't disable the HDCP on the PS3 like you can on PS4 and even PS5, which is really, really annoying. And you have to I think you have to set the PS3 to analog output, I think, in order to record off it. But getting it to work is a pain in the ass. I've got it working, don't get me wrong, but you usually have to do like a HDMI splitter, which I've got, and sometimes it wouldn't work. It was a pain in the ass to get it to record through the Elgato capture device. With PS4 and PS5, you can at least turn off the HDCP, which makes your life a little bit easier. And apparently, I haven't tried it with the Xbox Series X yet, but apparently with that, as soon as you plug it into any type of recording device, it automatically disables HDCP. Well, as you can see, Code Veronica worked, no problem whatsoever, so that's good. And I think we'll leave it there with the testing of games. I've tested more than enough. I've got no issues so far. I haven't had this digital license problem. At the moment, it seems to be affecting a lot of RPGs. So hopefully not. But I doubt this is something that's been intentionally done by Sony. I would have thought it's just the fact that there's something going. They've got some type of bug or glitch going on with their servers or something. Because I mean, here we go. You know, this is the thing on PS3, PS5, and obviously even PS4. It's reasonably seamless logging into the store, but on PS3, it's painful at times. God almighty. It's funny because I did this with a 360 a while back. I logged in and had a look at the 360 titles, and I looked it up, and there was literally nothing on the store. There is things on there, but the latest games just didn't exist. I don't think we're loading. This is running off the Wi-Fi, so... Oh, I see. So they've taken away I think they said about this a while back. They've taken away the ability to actually add funds via the PS3 now. So you got to add funds to your wallet via desktop, mobile, or a PS4 or PS5 console. And then you can use your wallets to make digital purchases for the Vita or the PS3. Why have they taken that away? Saying that maybe it costs them quite a bit of money. Wow, they're selling GTA 5 for 16 quid on PS3. Yikes, you can get it cheaper on PS4. Oh, there's some, well, old games on it mostly, but still. There was actually a couple of titles that I wanted on here actually. Metal Gear 1, because I bought the Metal Gear Legacy Collection, which is actually a where is it? It was the American version of the game, which is the Legacy Collection, but it's actually an American. I don't know if it was released in the UK. I think it might have been, but the Metal Gear 1 code doesn't work, unfortunately, for PAL territories. Let's just see, have a look a minute. The search function on this was really janky as well, if I remember correctly. Where's my L? Last time I checked, Metal Gear Solid 1 was actually on here. Phantom Pain. Oh shit, I forgot this is the one with Guns of the Patriots. £8. That's not too bad. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. There you go. There's the PSN store in all its slowness. Wow, that exited a lot faster than it loaded in, that's for sure. There's a classic, really old classic. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. That is all my PS1 games, mostly PS2, a couple of PS3 games. No issues with the digital licenses on these at the moment. So this is obviously affecting certain games and not every game. So I thought this would be an insightful video, at least for people to see. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, and thanks for the time.